Hello and welcome. In the previous video, we have seen how we can apply SRP while coding. In this video, we are going to pick a specific example from a specific project which will describe a specific scenario, and we'll see how we can apply SRP over there. So let's get started. So first of all, I'll describe you that specific project which we are working on and that specific scenario which we are going to consider. So consider that we are working on a e-commerce project, and we have a specific scenario where there is a UI like this which displays the product image, and along with that it also describes the product information and details like this. So this UI is in place and is developed by a UI developer, and it displays item name, price, description, etc. Now, on the backend, there is a class which is developed by backend developer, Java backend developer, which is class product, and it consists of these fields. And this UI basically uses an instance of class product in order to display these fields. So on the UI, the UI developer can be using any UI technology, but the main point to understand over here is that the UI technology uses an instance of product on the UI in order to display all of these fields by calling the getters of the product class. Now over here I have not written the getters of the product, those are mentioned as the comment, but consider that those are there. I've just not written them due to space constraints on the slide. So this is how it's all working, and the next piece of requirement is that we need to have a button on this UI which would say either buy or notify. Now the important point to notice here is that there is going to be a single button, but the label on that button is either going to be buy if the product is available in the product catalog, or it's going to be notify if the product is not available, and in that case we would want to have just the notify label on the button, so that by clicking that an user can ensure that a notification is sent to them when this product becomes available. Now as part of this, the UI developer, as part of this implementation, what UI developer does is he introduces a button on this UI, and now he has to decide whether to display buy or notify. For that, he needs to have a backend API, and he needs to call that backend API in order to know whether that product is available or not. And to do that, what he does is he makes a call to the backend API, but the API is right now not available. So he asks the backend developer in order to develop that specific API, which would tell whether the product is available or not. So he asks the backend developer, and the backend developer, what he does is he codes an API under the product class only, which is available method, and inside that he codes the logic to check whether the product is available in the product catalog or not. Now this logic consists of connecting to the database and checking whether the product is available or not. And now what UI developer does is UI developer just makes a call to this API because instance of product was already available to the UI, and he ends up in just calling this particular API to decide whether the product is available or not, and then displays either buy or notify depending on the product availability. Now this all works fine, but then we need to ask ourselves some basic question again regarding the product class. We need to see whether it's actually following SRP or not. Well, clearly it's not following SRP because it's not containing a single duty or single algorithm or single responsibility. As you can see that this class earlier consisted of only these fields and the getter methods, and these getters were simple logic or simple algorithm to provide access to these fields so that the UI can actually display all these fields. That was the single purpose or single responsibility of this class. But now the class also contains the logic to connect to the database and gets the product availability. Now, the nature of this logic, which is connecting to the database and getting the product's availability, is quite different than the nature of the getters logic, which were just having the wrapper on these fields so that the UI can display these fields. So clearly this class violates SRP. So what we need to do is we need to take this method out of this class, and we need to write a new class called as product catalog, and under that we can have is available method, and The UI after that can call this method is available and pass the instance of the product which is available to the UI, and then get to know whether the product is actually available or not. And based on that, it can actually display buy or notify label on that button. So this is how a single responsibility principle can be applied. And now if you see on the classes which are there on the back end, all of these classes have single responsibility or single duty or single algorithm, and they have only one reason to change, and they follow SRP right now. So in this video, what we have learned is that we have considered a specific project and a specific scenario, and we have seen how we can apply SRP for there. Thank you very much.